So I was checking my feeds this morning, just trying to see what's going on, wondering what I'll make a video about this morning. And Biden is corrupt is trending.
Oh, you sin? We've got a big case here. Where have you been?
And I decided to look into it. And I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. What's this all about? Well, half the people in there are Bernie bros, exclaiming that Russia is propping up this hashtag because really Trump's the problem. And of course, Trump and Russia are bedfellows in their mind's eye. So, yeah. Well, the fun part is the collusion shit, the quid pro quo that they blame Trump for. Link in description. Freaking Biden admitted to it on a live studio audience. Pretty much, he laid out the case of what the situation was. He was trying to say that Russia interfered with our election, blah, blah, blah. And it was disturbing to him that there was no evidence that they actually affected voting. Like the voting booths, because they're closed circuit, you kind of can't. They're not networked machines. They're independent and they kind of stand there. So the only way that you could really corrupt them is to go to each one or break into the facility that houses them and hack each one so that it will always give you the one answer. Now, there's been videos out there where people have seen that kind of thing where they'll go in and vote and it'll automatically vote for somebody else because reasons. I don't know if those are true or real or not because you're not supposed to have your phone out while voting. And they really gotta get pissed. Like the people watching the votes, they get angry and irate. They're like, "Hey, put your phone away. Can't have that out right now." I was like, okay. So I doubt that's the case that really happened. I mean, you can try to be sneaky and bring your phone in there and record that you hit a vote and whatnot. But the thing is, how would you go through vote and then go, oh, that kind of fucked up, and then you go and do the same thing and it won't give you the other option? I mean, you could always complain and say, hey, this is doing this thing. Why is that the case? What the fuck? You need to take this machine off. Instead of recording it and just blasting. I mean, it looks fake. I digress. The trending hashtag Biden is corrupt is an interesting thing because Biden is indeed corrupt. We have multiple quid pro quo, if you will, where he's helped out his son basically to get money to support his cocaine habit. I don't know how else you can explain it. The kid was kicked out of the Navy for testing positive for cocaine. It's very unlikely that he still is clean after all this time. He seems like a huge failure and a piece of shit, and I feel sorry for Biden because if any of my kids ended up like that, I would feel pretty ashamed as well. And the fact that he's trying to bail him out, I mean, he's just trying to be a dad. I can respect that, to be honest. Biden's is trying to help his son in the only way he knows how, I guess. But that's to a fault. Sometimes you need to cut him off. I mean, the kid's a massive fuck up. You don't get him an $85,000 a month job on the board of directors for a natural gas company through use of force and threatening the Ukrainian government to pull a prosecutor off of investigating for corruption in that same company. By the way, Russia hacked them sons of bitches too. So clearly, Russia's looking for some shit where they can get Biden in trouble because they don't like his ass either. He's been kind of a dick to Russia. Biden has been proven to live in the past. When he talks his nonsense, talking about playing vinyl records and having kids jump on his lap and weird shit like that, he's recalling a better time because I think that's where his brain lives now. He once said and brought up an old trope, and this went in the news too, that maybe the reason why black families are having such a difficult time and being so poor and why their education is not there is because they're embarrassed that they can't read too. And here's the fun part. So I talked to a guy downtown, and his dad couldn't read. In fact, when he get pulled over, he wouldn't sign anything. And this is back in Jim Crow era. To give you an idea, he wouldn't sign anything because he couldn't read it, and he wouldn't sign it until he had somebody that he trusted there to see what it says. Now think about that. This guy is pretty much the same age as Biden, maybe a few years younger, probably a few years younger. He's pushing like 65 almost. He's getting there. But this other guy, Biden's over 70, I believe, right? So he clearly lived in the time of Jim Crow, and yes, a lot of them were illiterate because segregated schools, shitty education, all that fun stuff. That was before my time, so that was 50 plus years ago, Biden. What the fuck? Seriously, you're living 50 years in the past and say this kind of shit? His policies are racial, obviously, because, well, he lives in the past when racial segregation was a thing and black people were oppressed. Quite literally. Segregated. Hell, even the Mormon Church came out this month with re-stoking racial tensions because they put together a lesson plan based on the Book of Mormon and forgot the Book of Mormon has a great section in there about how God cursed the Lamanites' skin, and they were cursed with dark skin to show that you can't breed with these people because they're cursed by God and evil. Yeah. Dark skin is of the devil, according to the Mormons. I digress again. That's a different story, a different time, and I actually think I did cover it in some of my atheist videos back in the day. But totally not surprised that this is trending, because he is corrupt as all fuck. I mean, like I said, link in the description of a YouTube video of him admitting that he pressured Ukrainian government to drop the investigation and fire the prosecutor that was going after it, or else he'd hold $1 billion in aid out of their hands. To which the Ukrainians said, "You can't do that. You're not the president. Go kiss my ass." And he says, "Yeah, well, really, go call him. Go call the president right now. Go ahead. I dare you." Who's he going to listen to, me or you? I mean, how is that not bullying? Seriously, just to save his son. That's really what it came down to, because his son worked there. His son had a seat on the board and was making an obscene amount of money. All for what? So in this trending hashtag, I see things saying, wow, the Russian bots and the Trumpers are out in full swath this morning. What is up with you stupid assholes saying everyone is a Russian bot? Are you really that dim-witted? Russia's talking about making their own internet just like freaking Chinese, and all of a sudden we have Russian bots everywhere? Everyone's a Russian bot? Go fuck yourself. Really? You're calling random people Russian bots because they say shit you don't like. You know what really looks like a Russian bot? The fact that each one of you look like you copy and paste the same fucking thing in different accounts over and over and over and over and over. And you have maybe a couple hundred followers on each one of these to kind of make them look legit. I mean, seriously. You're pathetic. I don't know how else to put it. You're pathetic. There's nothing in this hashtag. It's pretty much Biden is corrupt because he said a bunch of shit. There's a section in there about some ongoing things that were just said from Biden, no less. I mean, he is corrupt. How is this not a known fact by now? He's admitted to it. He came out and said he did some shit that's pretty shady. There's evidence against him. And the really stupid shit is you're blaming Trump for what he did. He actually did that shit. Trump made the perception that he did that shit, but in reality, it didn't happen the way everybody thinks it did. He talked to them, did not mention money at all. And at the same time, he wanted to get a feeler out, like, are you guys going to be investigating Biden or not? Because we heard some shit and this is pretty shady. Do you want our help? Why would you aid an ally with evidence of corruption if you were not president? I mean, seriously. They're supposed to be our allies. If our government did some shady shit to them, I'd want to put an olive branch forward so we still had good relations too, regardless of who that person was. It was my best friend giving them aid and like going over there and like hand selling them weapons in the black market or some shit. That person would be sold up the river. Of course, I wouldn't have friends like that either, so. Anyways, this trending hashtag is full of Bernie bros and evil Russian bots, according to everybody that's going to vote for Hillary or Biden. Sorry, same shit. Actually, one of them did say, this is why I voted for Hillary, and they did the same thing to her. I was like, really? Because she made up the Russian bot troll thing. That came out of her mouth. Whatever. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I thought I'd make it a little bit short one on a stupid hashtag that's trending, and hope you like the link in the description. See you next time.
But you're still not good enough.